Hello, folks. September 2nd, 2021. I thought I'd talk about something that is controversial. I've been thinking lately, what if I hadn't gone to college and would have stayed home with a high school gang instead of going to a teacher's college that became a state university while I was there. And one of the things they told me when I graduated, we just taught you how to learn. It's up to you now to learn. So I was looking through some of my old hard drives, and I still don't have this quite figured out, or I don't want to take time. So you don't have to look at me. You can just listen and go to TikTok or something. Look at images, or just sit back in your chair and hear a story. Because you see, there's always two sides to every story. And as the years go by, the names change, but the individuals are the same. For those of you out there that have ears to hear. So, if you have an open mind, the exodus of the Bible with Moses and his time in Egypt and his time in the desert, his brother had a different story. We're not really sure who his brother was, but most likely it was Akhenaten, who believed in one true God, the Sun God. And Moses, who was found in a reed basket, was brought in to part of the family, and he was educated by, at that time, one of the greatest educational centers of the world. So I'm going to read this just because I want it online. So here we go. This is called, and you can look it up, but it's been pretty much scraped from the internet. So I'm not going to say the name of it. I'm just going to start reading. Men forget the days of the destroyer. Only the wise know where it went, and that it will return in its appointed hour. It raged across the heavens in the days of wrath, and this was its likeness. It was as a billowing cloud of smoke, engulfed in a ruddy glow, not indistinguishable in joint or limb. Its mouth was as an abyss, from which came flame, smoke, and hot cinders. When ages pass, certain laws operate upon the stars in the heavens. Their ways change. There is movement, restlessness. They are no longer constant, and a great light appears redly, as in iron oxide in the skies. When blood drops upon the earth, the destroyer will appear, and mountains will open up and belch forth fire and ashes. Trees will be destroyed, and all living things engulfed. Waters will be swallowed by the land, and seas will boil. The heavens will burn brightly and redly. There will be a copper hue over the face of the land, followed by a day of darkness. A new moon will appear and break up and fall. The people will scatter in madness. They will hear the trumpet and battle cry of the destroyer, and will seek refuge in the dens of the earth. Terror will eat away their hearts, and their courage will flow from them like waters from a broken pitcher. As a thing that dispenses water, not a baseball player. They will be eaten up in the flames of wrath and consumed by the breath of the destroyer. Thus, in the days of heavenly wrath, which have gone, and thus it will be in the days of doom when it comes again. The times of its coming and going are known unto the wise. There are the signs and times which shall precede the destroyer's return. 110 generations shall pass into the west, and nations will rise and fall. I'll look up what a generation is. I believe it's 40 years. So, could be 20. Men will fly in the air as birds and swim in the seas as fishes. Men will talk peace with one another. Hypocrisy and deceit shall have their day. Women will be as men, and men as women. Passion will be a plaything of mankind. A nation of I've always had a problem with this one. Tongue twiddler. Soothsayers. A nation of soothsayers shall rise and fall, and their tongue shall be the speech learned. A nation of lawgivers shall rule the earth and pass away into nothingness. One worship, one, will pass into the four quarters of the earth, talking peace and bringing war. A nation of the seas will be greater than any other, but will be as a apple rotten at the core and will not endure. A nation of traders will destroy men with wonders, and it shall have its day. Then shall the high strive with the low, the north with the south, the east with the west, and the light with the darkness. Men shall be divided by their races, and the children will be born as strangers among them. Brother shall strive with brother, husband with wife. Fathers will no longer instruct their sons, and their sons will be wayward. Women will become the common property of men, and will no longer be held in regard and respect. Well, I guess I'll get an email on that one. Then men will be ill at ease in their hearts. They will seek they know not what, and uncertainty and doubt will trouble them. They will possess great riches, but be poor in spirit. Then will the heavens tremble and the earth move. Men will quake in fear, while terror walks with them. The heralds of doom will appear. They will come softly as thieves to the tombs. Men will know them for what they are. Men will know them for what they are. Men will be deceived, the hour of the destroyer now at hand. In those days men will have the great books before them. Wisdom will be revealed. The few will be gathered for the stand. It is the hour of trial. The dauntless ones will survive. The stout-hearted will not go down to destruction. Great gods of all ages alike to all who sets the trials of men, be merciful to our children in the days of doom. Man must suffer to be great, but hasten not his progress unduly. And the great separation of grain and chaff, be not too harsh on the lesser ones among men. Even the son of a thief has become your scribe. I think it means bookkeeper. A thief. Son of a thief is a bookkeeper. Okay. Uh, oh, sentinels of the universe who watch for the destroyer, how long will your coming vigil last? O mortal man who wait without understanding, where will you hide yourself in the dreaded days of doom, when the heavens shall be torn apart and the skies rent in two, in the days when children will turn gray-headed? This is the thing which will be seen. This is the terror your eyes will behold. This is the form of destruction that will rush upon you. There will be the great body of fire, the glowing head with many mouths and eyes ever changing. Terrible teeth will be seen in formless mouths, and a fearful dark belly will glow redly from fires inside. Even the most stout-hearted man will tremble, and his bowels will be loosened. I think you get that one. For this is not a thing undesirable to men. They don't like what's coming and they're pooping their pants. Okay. Well, I ought to just get my own analysis of this, but let's keep reading or listening. I guess I'm doing the reading. It will be a vast sky-spanning form engulfing earth, burning with many hues within wide-open mouths. These will descend to sweep across the face of the land, encouraging all in its vein. These will descend to sweep across the face of the land, engulfing all in the yawning jaws. Well, I think yawning could mean gasping or freaked out. I don't know. I don't think it means bored. I'm so bored I dropped my jaw. Okay. The great warriors will charge against it in vain. The fangs will fall out, and lo, they are terror-inspiring things of cold-hardened water. Great boulders will be hurled down upon men, crushing them in red powder. As the great salt waters rise up in its train and roaring torrents pour toward the land, even the heroes among mortal men will be overcome with madness, as moths that fly swiftly to their doom in the burning flame. So will these men rush to their own destruction. The flames going before will devour all of the works of men. The waters following will sweep away whatever remains. The dew of death will fall softly as gray carpet over the cleared land. Men will cry out in their madness, "Oh, whatever being there is, save us from this tall form of terror. Save us from the gray dew of death." The doom, called the destroyer, in Egypt, was seen in all the lands whereabouts. In color it was bright and fiery, in appearance changing and unstable. It twisted about itself like a coil, like the water bubbling into a pool from an underground supply, and all men agree it was a most fearsome sight. It was not a great comet or a lucent star, being more like a fiery body of flame. Its movements on high were slow, before it swirled in the manner of smoke, and it remained close to the sun, whose face it hid. In other words, it's on the back side of the sun, and it was interacting with the sun, shooting stuff at the earth. There was a bloody redness about it, which changed as it passed along its course. It caused death and destruction in its rising and setting. It swept the earth with gray cinder, rain, caused many plagues, hunger, and other evils. It bit the skin of men and beasts, until they became mottled with sores. The earth was troubled and shook. The hills and mountains moved and rocked. The dark smoke-filled heavens bowed over earth, and a great howl came to the ears of men, borne to them upon the wings of the wind. It was the cry of the dark Lord, the master of dread. Thick clouds of fiery smoke passed before him, and there was an awful hail of hot stones and coals of fire. The doom-shaped thundered sharply in the heavens and shot out bright lightnings. The channels of water were turned back unto themselves when the land tilted, and the great trees were tossed about and snagged like twigs. Then a voice like 10,000 trumpets was heard over the wilderness. And before its burning's breath the flames parted. The whole of the land moved and mountains melted. The sky itself roared like 10,000 lions in agony, and bright arrows of blood sped forth and back across its face. Earth swelled up like bread in the hearth oven. This was the aspect of the doom-shaped called the Destroyer. When it appeared in days long gone by, in olden times, it is thus described in the old records, few of which remain today. It is said that when it appears in the heavens above, earth splits open from the heat, like a nut roasted before the fire. Then flames shoot up through the surface and leap about like fiery fiends upon black blood. The moisture inside the land is all dried up. The pastures and cultivated places are consumed in flame, and they and all trees become white ashes. The doom shape is like a circling ball of flame, which scatters small, fiery offsprings in its terrain. It covers about a fifth part of the sky and sends wriggling, snake-like fingers down to earth. Before the sky appears frightened, and it breaks up and scatters away. Midday is no longer brighter than night. It dawns a host of terrible things. These are the things said of the Destroyer in the old records. Read them with a solemn heart, knowing that the doomed shape has its appointed time, and it will return. It would be foolish to let them go unheeded. Now men say, such things are not destined for our days. May the great God above grant that this is to be so. But come, that day surely will. In accordance with his nature, man will be unprepared. The dark days began with the last visitation of the Destroyer, and they were foretold by strange omens and the